is a crowd that loves democracy, right? So first, I just want to express my gratitude, really, to each and every one of you who show up and stand up for our democracy. And you continue to show up. It takes courage and it takes persistence, but that's what it takes to defend our democratic institutions and norms. So I have a proclamation, which I would like to read to you all. Whereas 250 years ago, the United States of America was founded on the principle that government derives its power from the consent of the governed, a radical concept that vested authority in the power of the people based on their inherent right to self-determination. And whereas the American Revolution was a fight against tyranny and the arbitrary rule of kings, giving birth to the first constitutional democracy and inspiring movements for democracy and self-determination around the world in the centuries that followed. And whereas the rule of law is fundamental to American democracy, requiring that laws be applied equally to all people, including those who have the power to create, execute, and enforce the law. And whereas the Constitution of the United States is the highest law of the land and exists to protect our rights and freedoms, including freedom of speech, worship, assembly, a free press, and a right to due process, among other rights. And whereas democracy is not self-executing and requires sustained vigilance, civic engagement, and participation by the people to flourish. And whereas American democracy is and always will be a work in progress, and we recognize the social movements throughout history, from abolition to civil rights, women's rights, labor rights, and human rights in all forms. And whereas victories for justice are won not only by extraordinary civic leaders, but by acts of courage and bravery by ordinary citizens. And whereas we continue to see these acts of courage and bravery every day in Minneapolis and throughout this country, as citizens seek through peaceful resistance to protect the rights of their neighbors. And whereas at this moment in our nation's history, we face challenges to democratic norms and constitutional governance that are testing the very fiber of our institutions and our resilience as a people, including federal actions that have challenged our elections, our free speech and our right of assembly, the existence of due process and the limits of executive power. And whereas history reminds us that democracy has endured previous periods of profound conflict and uncertainty and has emerged stronger when citizens, communities, and public servants reaffirm their commitment to the Constitution, the rule of law, and the dignity of all people. And whereas here in Ulster County, we are committed to protecting our democracy through free and fair elections, transparent and accessible government, and the safeguarding of our constitutional rights and freedoms. Now, therefore, I, Jen Metzger, Ulster County Executive, do hereby proclaim February 14th, 2026 as I Love Democracy Day. In Ulster County, and encourage our residents to reflect on all that we cherish about our democracy, to lead with empathy, participate fully in civic life, strengthen our community bonds through mutual respect, and acknowledge our responsibilities as citizens, including the responsibility to demand accountability by government, respect for the rule of law, and the protection of every person's rights, safety, and well-being without exception.
Yeah!
Keep up the fight, people. We'll get through this. We'll get through this together.
Yeah.
All right. Keep it up.
Thank you, Jen.
Who am I giving this to?
What do we love?
Democracy!
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 What do we love?
Fair election!
What do we love?
Fair election!
What do we love?
Fair election!
What do we love?
Fair elections!
When we fight,
We we win!
When we fight, we win.